son's name? Luke. He's called Luke. And the computer's called Mr. Smith.
Calling Luke and Mr. Smith. This is the doctor. Come on, Luke, shake a leg.
Is Mum there? Oh, she's fine and dandy.
Welcome to our Saturday interview with Tommy Knight. Please welcome to the stage our interviewer, Jason Tucker.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you all for being here. And now I would like to bring to the stage our guest of honor, Tommy Knight.
Don't want to sit on that.
Don't sit on the microphone. Well, thank you for being here. It's your first visit to Minnesota.
It sure is, yeah.
Yeah.
What a beautiful place.
And you know, we used to have the convention in the summer. We moved it to the winter because the hotel was a lot cheaper. But I have really liked the fact that now some of the people who come from the UK have, you've never really experienced this kind of climate before, have you?
Yeah, no, yeah, I was saying that I've never seen a snowbank taller than me, and like, I did the walk from the mall down to here. It's maybe about 40-minute walk.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do
no,
that.
I loved it. I loved it. And it was just so beautiful, really. Just, yeah, really beautiful place.
And
I love the snow.
you and Sophie went out for a walk yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Tell us about that walk.
So we thought it'd be a great idea to check out the wildlife refuge just across the road from us. And apparently there was like a 2-mile walk around the lake. And we thought, oh, brilliant, we've got 3 hours. We'll be able to smash that out, no problem. And then I think about 2 hours into walking in the same direction, we thought, oh dear, we're following a river instead. We didn't bring a map. Sophie's phone was dead. I had no internet service. And we needed to be back here at the convention in about 50 minutes, and it was a good 2-hour walk away. So a bit of panic set in, but we made it back here in time, thanks to the lovely guest liaison, Anton, who came to our rescue. That was an embarrassing phone call to make.
And I believe the day before you actually also went on a walk through. And
I did a shorter one that day.
A shorter one.
Yeah.
But you still had a bit of a issue that day as well, didn't you?
Yeah. So I had the snowshoes on, and as I was following the trail, I saw a family of deer, like 4 or 5 deer, and I'm just in awe of the beauty of that moment, like being by yourself and like the peace of the land around you, and then to see these deer staring back at me was so magical. So I thought, I've got to get a bit closer for a nice video. So I went off trail, and maybe about 100, 200 meters through the wooded section, my snowshoe got caught on a roo. I stumbled forward, and my whole sock came out of my shoe, and I plunged it into about 2 foot worth of snow. So I had a really wet, cold foot. Maybe about a mile or like a good hour's walk away from anyone or anything. So I had that was the moment that I thought, okay, I should turn around and go back home now, because the deer ran off and I had a wet sock. So I had a bit of a grumpy walk back, but it was all right. It was all right in the end.
But I am really glad that you were able to have those experiences, and I mean, take that, LA.
I was told that's the true Minnesotan experience, is walking home with a wet sock.
Exactly.
So
yes,
I'm glad I was able to experience that.
Well, we're so glad that you're here and everything. And of course, the reason why you're here is because you played Luke Smith in the Sarah Jane Adventures and in a couple of episodes of Doctor Who. Tell us about how that came about. Like, how did you get the role of Luke Smith?
So I think I was about 12, 13 years old. I'd been acting for about 5 or 6 years, doing a lot of theatre work beforehand. So I had myself a little agent. I'd done 1 or 2 auditions for TV shows, but I don't think anything had landed yet. And then the call came through, and we were just told at the time it was a pilot episode. So I didn't know much about what a pilot was. At the time I was told, it's just 1 episode. My mum said to me, it'll just be like, they're just doing like a test of a series. So I had the whole time that I got the role. I was super duper excited, but I thought it'd just be a 2-week thing, bit of filming, job done. And then I guess 15 years later, to be sitting here on the stage still talking about it is just like I had no idea how wrong my initial perception of it was.
Did they tell you at all what you were getting into at the time?
Like,
did
no, it wasn't really
did you
explained
meet
to me.
Russell right off the bat?
I did. Russell was there actually in my very first audition. I remember we would discussing Luke. He was like, "So what do you think about this character?" And I said, "Oh, because when I was about 12 at the time, I did a lot of the scripts. I went through it with my mum." And we'd kind of settled on the idea that Luke was a bit like it was like a bit of an AI robot from the Haley Joel Osment film, which we'd seen only a little while before. I remember thinking, I really enjoyed that film, but he was quite quite still in everything that he did. He wasn't empathic, didn't have much going on. And I thought, that's quite easy to play it like a robot. And Russell was like. When I said that to him, I saw his eyes light up, and he's like, "That's exactly what it is." He's like, "Your brain is so fresh, so new. You're you're a computer without an operating system, essentially, and you're learning it yourself as you go through." So that was really exciting as well from my perspective. That was one of the first times that I'd maybe had a cool discussion about a role I was going to do. He's a character that I was essentially creating as well. It was it wasn't. Plays and things that I'd done in the past were all, pre-done characters, and everything was sort of set in stone on how to play a lot of other parts that I'd done. So I was given the creativity to sort of do what I want, which was, a really awesome start to a career, I guess, yeah.
And had you watched Doctor Who at all before that?
I knew of it. My family were Who fans, like my mum, and so they watched it. I knew of it. I didn't know who Sarah Jane was. I'd never really watched her episodes. So there was quite a bit of research I needed to do, especially when it came out and people started noticing me. And then I didn't realize how big the Who universe had an impact on so many people's lives. So I've done a bit of research since then.
Nice. And your first convention in the U.S. was when you were still on the show, right? It was Gallifrey in L.A. And then the next year, Chicago TARDIS. But that was when you were still playing the part.
Yeah. So it was quite still new and relevant. And I think I was. I'd have the scripts of the next season, and so to be able to tease people with that I know what's coming up is that's a really fun situation to be in.
Was there a concern that you would pull a Tom Holland and they had to give you fake scripts to make sure you
I didn't have the spotlight of Tom Holland, and I'm quite sure, I was very much Tom Holland. I mean, I'll drop you a hint, what's happening? No, I won't get told off. I think I got away with it as well.
Yeah. I remember you being at Gallifrey that year, and
where we first met, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And you had a long kilt that you had made out of badge ribbons and everything. You were going around collecting all the badge ribbons and that.
Yeah, so it's like the at the convention, everybody trades these the little ribbons, and the people were so generous that every person that I met would be like, "Oh, hey, I've got a ribbon for you. I've got a ribbon for you." And then the next thing I know, I've got a ribbon strip down to my leg. And then somebody goes, "Oh, actually, I know somebody who has an incredible ribbon collection. Do you want to come and see it?" And this person had hundreds and hundreds of doubles. And then the next time I was like, "Oh, can I have some of these?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And then eventually, after the madness descended, I had an entire kilt made out of these ribbons, which I think I wore for the closing ceremony. I was told as well at the time that was the ribbon record for ribbons collected at the convention, but since then I believe that I lost that title to Catherine Tate.
Well, I mean, if you're going to lose the title to somebody,
it's going to be her. Yeah. So she is now my. I've not met her, but she is now a bit of an enemy.
Do you still have the kilt?
Yeah.
Nice,
Still got the kilt. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that prior to Sarah Jane, you had done some theater. Mm-hmm. How old were you when you first started acting?
So I'd say the acting began as a little naughty boy when you're trying to. "Oh, I didn't do that, Mum. No, that wasn't me." I was maybe 3 or 4, I think, when I already realised I've got the knack to tricking people.
What was your first role?
My first role, I think I was maybe about 6 years old, and it was an open audition in London for Whistle Down the Wind, which is Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. So I had to do a bit of singing, and yeah, I think I was about 6 when I went up for the audition, and I got the role of that. We had, like, when rehearsal started was actually when the show got cancelled, so I never had the opportunity to perform my first role. Okay. But I've got the contract, so it did happen. And then I think I was 7 to 8 years old when I got my first actual role on the West End, which was a play called Medea, based on the Greek tragedy. And Fiona Shaw played my mother and murdered me 64 times, which was pretty awesome when you're a young kid to be playing dead on stage and getting stabbed and my dead body washed in a lake on the. Oh, it was dark, that show. Yeah.
Well, you've done a number of dark performances, and that's not the only time you've played a dead body.
No.
I believe.
I got typecast. I think,
Yeah.
The bully victim was one that I seemed to get a lot
that
of.
was Glue, right?
Yeah, Glue. Yep. Glue was. I was murdered in that. That was great fun, actually. That was a really good show written by Jack Thorne, who did Skins and did Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I think he recently wrote that. I actually did a play with Jack a few years later after Glue. He was saying that it was like he liked my part, and how he sort of related to a younger version of him, like that he'd put into the script himself. And then he did another play called Hope, which was based on some local councillors. We did that at the Royal Court in London together, and nice, really good, great fun.
Yeah, I wish there was an opportunity to see some of these acting or some of these stage roles that you've done and everything. I know that every so often they do stage that they record, and are any of your performances?
I much prefer that they're not.
Okay.
I think there's a certain magic to knowing that you have to be here to see it. I think I don't know if any have been recorded professionally. I think my mother once
not
or twice
on the side.
secretly snuck in a camcorder, so we do have a little bit of footage here and there. But yeah.
Oh, awesome. And then there was another, I think it's a movie you did, Stitches?
Oh, yeah. About the murderous clown who just comes back with a vengeance to kill everybody on my 18th birthday party. that was a lot of fun to film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've definitely had a bit of dark acting in your career.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever murdered. Yeah.
You may not have murdered anyone, but you were telling me about a role that you had, a play that you did, where it had some equally disturbing activities. Are you okay talking about
There's
that?
a big list here in my head, so can you be more specific?
I believe it was written by Stephen Fry.
Oh yeah. So this is a cracker. This is what I like to tell all of the Lord of the Rings fans out there, which is if you know Shadowfax, like the Gandalf's horse, and like the Lord of all horses, the horse actor who played Shadowfax was in this film. It was a film, The Hippopotamus, written by Stephen Fry. And I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say for PG reasons. So the spoiler alert of the movie. The idea is that this young character, my character David, was going around healing, people and horses, and they couldn't quite work out why. And it turns out that I was healing these people with my sperm. So I have this incredible scene that I had to film with Shadowfax, where I heal Shadowfax from his sickness. I mean, it wasn't Shadowfax, though. I think the actual horse's name was Almonzo. That was the horse actor's name. But yeah, that was certainly a turning point in my life. As I'm standing behind a horse, I was told how to grab the tail and do my deed. There's an entire camera crew there. I think that I'm stark naked. That was really. I broke through a level of shame there that I haven't done since.
On that theme, I believe that in Glue, you're in the buff.
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
quite comfortable with my body.
Yeah. Your first
So-
appearance as Luke Smith, I think you're mostly naked.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
you've never
yeah.
had a problem.
little naturist.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
How
Raised me to love my
did-
body.
How did Sandy feel about all this?
Well, I don't think she watches it. I think they're the bits that she turns a blind eye to.
Sandy is his mom. Anyway, and then also, so in Glue, your character is gay. You did a short film called Closets, where you played a gay character.
Yeah.
If people followed it was not part of the Sarah Jane Adventures, but it was the recording that was done after Elizabeth
Farewell,
Sladen.
Sarah Jane.
Farewell, Sarah Jane,
Yeah.
where Luke had come out of the closet. So, you've kind of had a little bit of a trend of playing gay characters.
Yeah.
So-
I used to say that like my face obviously gives off. You either want to punch me in the face, like, as I was a bully victim often, or a gay character. So I was just like whatever. I was happy to play it. Yeah.
So typecast as corpses
Yep,
and
yep,
gay characters.
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
you're
proud to represent those. There are plenty of people
There you
out there
go,
who
there you
are,
go,
and
yeah.
they need a voice too.
Okay, let's since Eleanor, you're up here. Let's go ahead and take a question.
I just wanted to ask what it was like filming Farewell, Sarah Jane, because I just thought that was such a beautiful tribute to Liz, and
Yeah.
I cry every time I watch it. So.
Yeah. That was like I was contacted by Russell, and he says, we're in the pandemic, everyone's alone at the moment, and so I thought it'd be really nice to do something like this, something that you can film from your own home, So here's a little piece of script I wrote, and it was heartbreaking to read it, because I hadn't played Luke in don't know how many years, and so it was something that I had to film myself, and I found it really touching, really, really was. It was nice to close like a couple of the loops that had been
Yeah.
left open. Russell had we'd had a lot of more scripts written that were never filmed, and as part of that was the character Luke coming out as gay. Which would have made him actually one of the first gay characters on children's BBC at home, which I thought was like a great claim to fame, like an awesome thing to represent. So it was nice to sort of to have his ideas fully come to light and sort of close it off in a nice way. And it's just beautiful to be able to do something that was a farewell to Elizabeth to Sarah Jane in a sense. So I was honoured to be a part of that. Yeah, really lucky.
Working with Elizabeth Sladen, you said you hadn't seen any of her episodes prior to that, but you must have started to get an idea as you started working with her how much she meant to all of us.
Yeah.
And I mean, I actually remember where I was when I heard that Elizabeth Sladen had passed and everything, you know, and that she is like. She was the companion for so many people, and you spent so much time with her. And how was your experience working with Elizabeth Sladen?
Well, I think I had a great time, working with her. We used to nickname her the Mother Hen because she looked after us so well, and she'd always want to be every time that it was cold out, she'd be like, "Get Tommy a coat, get Anjali a coat," or if someone's like, "Oh, I'm a bit thirsty, I don't know where the water is," she'd be like, "Where's the water?" We got to look. She had such an important aspect of her was looking after her co-stars, her close friends. It was very, very important to her, that's just inspiring. That's something I still hold with me nowadays. Sorry, let that go for a sec. Working together was just incredible, and it was nice to I think I spent the last 5 years of her career playing her son and being super close to her. I feel blessed to be able to share that with people because there are so many fans out there who she had such a big impact on that to be able to talk about, the last times of her playing the role together it means a lot to some people to hear. And so I feel it's quite an important thing to hold and to give respect to is Elizabeth.
Yeah, you did a panel at Gallifrey last year. It was you and Anjali and Gary Russell, and it was remembering, I forget if it was remembering Liz Sladen or remembering Sarah Jane, and I'm pretty sure that I cried at least once during that panel and everything. Yeah.
We were all like really close. Gary as well. Gary Russell is an incredible guy. And being with him, I remember talking about that. Like because I was so young at the time that a lot of the memories are, I don't remember it maybe as clearly. So being able to sit there and talk about it with him, that was the first time that I'd really done that with him. Just brought so many more memories back that it was really, it was a really powerful talk that I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Do you see Anjali or Danny much?
No, not so much. Like, I've still got the numbers on my phone, so I can give them a ring anytime I want. I like to keep up with what they're doing. I was saying I was playing the game Elden Ring only like the other month, and as I'm playing it, I'm hearing a voice. I'm going, I know this voice. So I go on the Wikipedia, and sure enough, Anjali Mohinja has done the voices of one of the quest arcs in the game. So yeah, it's like it's really nice to see how great that she's getting on. Yeah.
Wonderful. And you're over here doing this, and you were in LA last year with Anjali, and so maybe you'll be able to start doing stuff over there and stuff.
It was so great to see her. I think when I saw her in last January, it'd been a good couple of years. Like throughout the whole pandemic, nobody really did much socializing, and so. So that was sort of like the first real big event that I'd been to since all of that, and to have Anjali there was just we're really silly together. We act like proper children, and so we sort of fell straight back into that dynamic together of just sort of messing about and making each other laugh a lot. It was really wholesome.
Nice. That's great. Now your whole family have your siblings. They acted as well, but none of them have done anything like this. Like,
not to rub it in.
No. I mean, they haven't been flown overseas. I can't believe the life that I've had from this. I was very lucky. Myself was like, we were very poor when I was a kid. Like, my mum was a single mum looking after all of us children. I'm one of 5, and so it was. My first audition that I went to was it was a bit of a big deal to afford the train ticket to get to London, and fortunately getting the job meant that I received a bit of money that was put into a pot, and then I was able to fund the next audition and fund the next audition from that, so I just it's complete luck. Right place, right time, right smile. I don't know. Yeah. Well, so many people who have started working in Doctor Who, they don't get at the beginning what it means, and years later, and like Sophie, during her interview, we were talking about how she's now part of this family and stuff. Do you feel sometimes that you are part of this huge extended family? You and Sophie went for a 2-hour walk, and stuff, and that. I'm sure there are other actors that you meet who are like, oh yeah, it's just a job, but it sometimes feels like
it's a lot deeper than just a job. Because it's representing something that has changed lives, has inspired people to do all sorts, has given people faith that they're not alone when they feel it. From doing conventions and meeting fans and hearing the stories from so many different people, I'm just constantly blown away and in awe of at the end of the day, I was just standing there saying my lines and pulling faces, and at the time I didn't realize the impact that it would have to people, and so it feels so great. I mean, I loved doing the filming bit, and then to have the enjoyment afterwards as well of the reaction is. You couldn't ask for more than that, really, in a job.
And I mean, it was the Sarah Jane Adventures. At the time it was out, it was really kind of a different style than Doctor Who at the time. It felt more like watching classic Doctor Who than the regular Doctor Who. And there were episodes of Sarah Jane Adventures that actually made me cry. And stuff. It was just so emotional. Do you have any do you have moments filming that just really meant more to you than some of the other moments that you can remember?
I'm not sure in terms of like the scenes that we do, but I think the experiences that we had offset, like with Liz going out for dinner, you know, little moments that you'd have just spending time together, they were the ones that really meant the most to me. Sort of I learned so much from her, like how to, you know, hold yourself and how to treat people with kindness. You know, that you, at the end of the day, you're doing this job because people watch it, and if like these people don't watch it, then you don't have a job, and so you owe your respect to them. Was like some really important morals that I took from her.
Well, great. Anybody else have any questions? Just go ahead and come up to the microphone and ask Tommy your question.
So Jason mentioned that Sarah Jane Adventures is a kids show, but there's still some really affecting moments, and I think there's also some really genuinely scary moments in it. Were there any monsters in there that you found particularly effective, or any moments that you found particularly scary?
I think I'd say no. I was looked after so well on the set by everybody there that it was just a constant state of just, I was in awe of everything. You know, we're having explosions and we've got a prosthetic truck that has 10 different monster heads on, and so being able to see it all broken down long before it was onto the TV was just, I had a lot of respect for all of the tiny little aspects that had been focused on. I wouldn't say there was so much fear just while filming it. I was just constantly in amazement. Well, although, you know, going back and watching it, seeing like the Nightmare Man and the Ringmaster and like the clowns, it was like, whoa, wow, this looks a lot better than it did on set. Like, because a lot of the things that we'd have would be like the Bane, for example. There's a scene where the Bane is chasing us up the stairs. What we're running away from is the director with a big stick and a tennis ball on the end, and he's going, look scared, like, as he's chasing us up the stairs, and so we in between the takes, it's all giggles and laughter like the whole time. We're having so much fun, and so God knows how they managed to find us looking scared in a take, because it was just so hilarious. Like the you just can't believe the situation that you're in right now. I'm wearing a dress, running up some stairs away from a guy with a tennis ball on a stick.
So you're ready to be in the next Marvel movie, it sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
If Marvel reached out to you and said, "Hey, we want to put you in the next superhero thing,"
I'd pinch myself. I wouldn't believe it.
That said, you've mostly you're not doing a lot of acting right now.
Nope. Yep, I've taken a bit of a step back. I'm working in coding at the moment, so I'm working on getting a salary, as I've been saying.
What the last thing you were doing was Victoria?
I think the last job I did was a play. I did a play called Market Boy in London, which was sort of set in an Essex market stall.
So far from your regular life.
Oh yeah, well, and that was a really fun part actually. I spent the entire time on the stage, like the entire play. So I spent like 3 hours on the stage. It was like nice main character, and it was a really, really full-on work to do.
Okay.
I think I'd known for like quite a while before that I didn't want to do acting forever. I think I sort of started to suffer from some anxieties as well, and just realized that I think I'm going to be happy with whatever I'm doing, so why not do something that I can sit at home all day and just be by myself, be a bit of a hermit. Suits me a lot better, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that said, if this year is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, and if they're like, hey, we want you to come back for a one-off.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
You'll be there.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, good. That's the right answer.
Yeah.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
You have a question?
Yeah, a couple of comments. I was looking at Wikipedia, and it turns out that one of the episodes that you were in, The Stolen Earth, they said that it was the 750th Doctor Who-related episode. I think that's just astounding. Wow. Can you confirm? Did you hear that? Do you know anything about that? I mean, 750.
That's an insane number, isn't
It
it?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. Also, I hope this isn't a spoiler, but I think people would like to know, isn't tomorrow your birthday?
Maybe.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you hear that, people? You can, whatever evil thing you can plan.
No, I came here to get away from all that. It follows you everywhere.
All of you behave.
I hate having
Everyone
a Wikipedia
behave.
page. Yeah, I'll be turning 30 tomorrow. Yeah.
He's here for his
Yeah.
30th birthday tomorrow.
Woo!
I'm sure there will be singing when he's on stage at some point.
Oh dear.
You can hide in the TARDIS.
I will. These cheeks will go.
All right. Moving on.
Oh yeah. Moving on. I've started to get white hairs now, and
At
it's
the
happening.
ripe old age of 30.
It's
you're-
happening.
Yes. The body just starts breaking down.
Yeah, I can't run the way I used to. I make a noise when I stand up now. It's all coming.
So you said that now you are coding. What are you working on video games? Are you what kind of what is your passion now?
It did start from game modding. I hosted a few private servers back in the day of a game called RuneScape. I was a big fan of that. It's like a Java-based game. And so I sort of learned, my introduction to coding was sort of through that. And then during the pandemic, I realized that as the dynamic of auditioning changed a lot, where it all became very self-tape based, and for an audition you wouldn't go and meet a casting director. I'd have to film it myself and then send it off, and I realized just how much I really hated self-review through acting. It wasn't good for me, so I realized, all right, this is my time now to make that change that I always wanted to do. And it's a tricky decision to, what am I going to do when I grow up? And I'm like 27. I don't know what I'm going to do when I grow up. I'm already grown up, Tommy. I won't get a grip. And so, I wasn't sure if I was going to go into teaching, because I get on really well with children, and I love to help people who need help. And so I thought, that would be a good venture to go in. Or I could do what I know I enjoy doing, which is sitting on a computer and trying problem solving, essentially. I did a boot camp for coding, like software development. So I mostly do web development, JavaScript, TypeScript, that sort of stuff, like some SQL.
You know what happens when you start working in computers? You become tech support for your entire family.
Oh, no, I was anyway. Yeah. So I know how to set up a printer and me and my friends, we did a lot of gaming LAN events, and I was always the one I'd have to bring the router and set up all of the Ethernets and make sure we've got enough extension cables. So no, tech support suits me fine. Happy to help.
Great. Go ahead.
You said you dabbled in some games. What games have you played?
Quite a. That's a long list. I think I used to do competing, so competitive gaming. I was really into esports. So the first ones I played were Halo 2 and 3. Did some tournaments for Halo. StarCraft 2, Blizzard StarCraft series. I've played a bit of that at tournament. I placed 16th in Europe once, which was cool claim to fame. There wasn't too many at the event though, so it wasn't really 16th in Europe, but I like to say that. I did. Yep, I've got a maxed Worgen. What was it? He's a Worgen Hunter. Yep. And what else? I haven't tried Dragonflight. No. But yeah, what am I playing at the moment? I'm playing a Pokemon emulator on my phone at the moment. I don't know how legal that is, but I'm playing the original Pokemon games on there. But no, gaming's always been a big part of my life. Big fan. Nice.
Go ahead. You have a question?
Yesterday, I asked about the set of Mr. Smith and the attic set, which is just a really effective acting stage, a piece. Another element of the series that I just love, I'm a car guy, Sarah Jane's Nissan. Did you guys,
the Figaro.
Did you guys ever get to drive it, or do you have any great stories about it?
Well, I did. I was too young to drive it myself, but that thing was. it was very bumpy in the back seat. It had no seat belts in the back. But I remember some of the first times that we'd have a scene, and with most of the driving was done by a stunt lady, and she could throw that thing about. I remember we were sitting in the back seat as she like comes and handbrakes, skids out of the Bannerman Road and drives off on like some practice takes. And we were all in the back just screaming our lungs out. Like that was great fun, yeah.
And you weren't acting, were you?
No, there was no acting involved in there. That was pure fear.
Did you have, when it came to things like stunts and stuff, did you do any of your own work?
Yeah, whenever I had the opportunity to, I'm like a little bit of an adrenaline junkie. Yeah, I did a little skateboarding and stuff, so I did some rugby. I know how to fall over, so any opportunity of doing something more physical, I was always like, yeah. Unfortunately, insurance reasons meant that I'd get turned down a lot of the time, but whenever there was an opportunity to like make something look more dramatic or to, I'd always want to do it. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
You mentioned, or to go back a little bit to the gaming and stuff, and you mentioned that you heard Anjali's voice in Elden Ring. Would you ever consider doing VO work for video games?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I should have applied for that sort of thing a long time ago. Made myself a voice tape, maybe. I'm a bit too laid back.
It seems like
or lazy.
It's a route that a lot of people are going.
Yeah. It's really enjoyable.
And a little less hectic than the.
Yeah, less in the spotlight, isn't it? Yeah. We're like through filming, we did awful lot of ADR. We call it the additional dialogue recording. And that's mostly when you're filming and an aeroplane goes overhead, or there's like a rustle on the microphone, and so they need to pick up and get a cleaner audio. So at the end of every series, you'd go for an ADR session, and it would maybe be like 20 or 30 scenes that there'd be a line that's just not clear enough, or you've mumbled, or you've got a dry mouth and it sounds weird. And so you'd be in the booth and you'd watch the scene. This would be the first time that you'd ever actually see any of the recordings. And you'd have to lip sync to that. And I always loved that. Like, that was such a fun experience. I really enjoyed doing that sort of thing, yeah.
I would imagine, just hearing you talk about your interests, that all the behind the scenes stuff.
So you're in the sound booth and they've got those big decks with like 100 little things. I'm like, what's this do? What's this do?
I'm sure it wasn't annoying to them at all.
Oh, really annoying. Yeah, absolutely. Like when you move something and they're like, what did you just touch? And I'm like,
Have you ever
I'm more well behaved these days.
Yeah.
So.
Have you ever, yes, especially when you're off in the wilderness getting, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe not.
Have you ever considered going into directing or anything like that?
I think I'd enjoy it, but no. I think there's a lot of pressure on there, and I think sometimes from what I understand, sometimes the vision that you start with isn't the vision that you end up with, because too many cooks can spoil the broth. Sure. And so I think I could almost find it quite disappointing if I'd created something. And it didn't turn out the way I initially did. I'd be fearful of that.
Sure.
Yeah, but it'd be fun.
Eleanor, you have another question?
Hey.
What was it like working with K9?
Ooh.
The tin dog.
Well, yeah, that thing. He was probably the biggest diva I've ever worked with. Yeah, he was. We worked with the original an original K9, and he wasn't built for all terrain, you could say. If you're on the TV show, you never notice when K9 goes from the street and goes up a curb, because he can't go up the curb. He'll hit the curb and make a noise as the motor inside of him struggles. Or if he catches a zone, sometimes he just spin on an axis just by himself. So I think there was one or two scenes as we're walking along with K9, and then we have to stop because you hear a whirring noise, and you look and he's 3 feet behind you, chasing his own tail, I guess. Yep, you'd go to hug him, and sometimes the side panels would fall off. And so you had to be very, very delicate, because he was an antique work of art. Yeah, so... yeah, not in a rush to get back with him, but if they are planning on doing the K9 Adventures with Luke Smith, then I'll maybe advise a few additions, some super glue or bigger wheels, make him off road.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I suppose. I mean,
Thank you.
how old was Liz Sladen when she started back in the character? So you have a few years that you could. Yeah. Once you retired from coding, and they, the Luke Smith adventures, absolutely.
Yeah, it could happen.
Any other questions from anybody? What is you'll be going back on Monday. You'll be going back for coding work and everything. Do you have any upcoming things that you're excited for?
No, I'm very happy to say I'm free.
You're free.
Yeah.
You're free.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. No, not even any vacations or anything like that. Trips abroad.
I'll be visiting my sister in Glasgow. Yeah, like
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
just normal life
Just
things,
kicking
bit
back.
of family. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To go back to your theater work, what are there any shows that you are particularly proud of your work in that role? Anything that you've done that you're like, if I want people to remember that I played this part?
Yeah. I'm not sure. There have been moments that I've been very proud of. When I was talking about that play I did, Hope, with Jack Thorne, who wrote it. I don't know if you know Anna Wintour. She came to watch the show and then afterwards sent me a little private invitation to the Evening Standard Awards saying, I was so impressed with your work there. Do you want to come to this award ceremony? Which I politely declined because I'm a bit too shy for something like that. Black tie events don't suit me. But that was a bit of an honor in itself. I've still got the invitation at home from her saying, oh, thank you, you did really well. And then, the most recent play that I did, Market Boy, that was just, I think that was like physically the most intense role that I'd ever actually done. Just because.
Why was it so intense?
Because it's like a 2-hour play that I didn't leave the stage for the entire time. So that was a heck of a lot of dialogue, positions to learn, and a lot of pressure because so many of the cues were taken from me. So that was I worked bloody hard for that, and I was really proud of it. Yeah.
How long of a run was it?
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it about?
Sorry?
Tell us about Market Boy. What kind of
it
role
was
did
sort
you
of
play?
so it was the story, the coming of age of a young boy in an Essex marketplace working on a shoe stall, whose mother ends up having an affair with like the guy who runs the stall, and then me and my mama fall out, and so I have to like break down in tears and shout at her, and be very. I have a big shouting match with my mum. I cry. I fall in love with a girl. We end up having like a romantic dinner, and all of this was sort of choreographed in the market itself. And it was it was great fun. It was tiring as hell. Like every night I'd slept like a log, but I loved it. It was great.
And that was in London.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
The Union Theatre. Yeah.
Okay. So did you had to you don't live in London?
I did at the time.
You did at the time?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's quite an easy commute. Yeah, but for like most of my life, I was maybe about an hour outside, get a train in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I like trains.
Yeah. So when I first saw you in Gallifrey, however many years ago that was, I remember you talking about how even back then you were saying that you didn't see that your future being in acting. And I believe the phrase you used was that you wanted to just go and be on a mountaintop someplace.
Oh, yeah?
Is that still a goal of yours, to go and be a hermit on a mountain?
I've been on a few mountains, and it feels like home. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
So
to keep myself to myself.
Do you like to travel?
I've done a lot of traveling through work and like my own holidays. I don't do too much anymore. I'm more of a sit at home and
customs can be hard.
yeah.
It can be tough sometimes dealing with customs.
Yeah. I was actually like the last few times I've been through an airport, I've just been so terribly unlucky and had really bad experiences. I was actually really quite nervous landing here for this weekend. I was quite surprised actually at how much that had affected me. It was like maybe a good hour or two after my flight, my hands were still shaking, like just from going through the customs bit. I don't know if it's like seeing the guys with the big guns and having to talk to them, but yeah, I don't like it. Yeah,
it's
if they could cut that bit out and just, teleport me here, or
Well,
hop in
at
a
least-
TARDIS, then I'll do a lot more traveling for sure.
Yeah. At least in Europe, you can do a lot by train, and I think
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
it's a little less stressful on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
trains.
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So, what? Oh, we have a question.
Oh, trying to get a sense of how far ahead Russell T Davies plans his characters' arcs in advance. Specifically, it's great that Luke has wound up with a great man like Sanjay, but I wonder how early Russell T Davies had that idea.
Very, from what I understand, very early, almost from the start. I couldn't say for sure. But it was something that he had briefly mentioned about, like, just to check with me. As early as by the first season, I think, while we were filming that, it was something. This is an idea that he has. What do I think of it? I was just like, oh, that's awesome. It would be great to represent that.
Okay.
I think he really has the whole arc set in his head right from the get-go, and then it's just as the time moves on, it's just polishing the ideas that he already has. Yeah, from how I understood it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a sense of what his plans were for Ronnie and Clyde going forward? I mean,
I'm not sure. I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there was a lot of stories, but I'm not sure whether I can't remember if they came from Russell or not.
sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Natasha.
Hey.
We're all a bunch of geeks and nerds here, and Doctor Who's only one of the things that most of us geek out about. I'm curious to know, like TV shows, movies, what are your geek favorite things to do?
So, like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of gaming. I'll sit and watch competitive esports for like a multitude of games, from like Rocket League to Fortnite to Call of Duty, CS:GO. I love keeping up with that. I geek out to that a lot. I was watching a guy speed run a Pokemon game the other night on Twitch, and that's the sort of thing I fall asleep to. Really makes me happy. Yeah.
Don't have any particular favorite YouTubers or TikTok people that you follow?
I don't have a TikTok. I'm actually off of social media, really, like as a whole, which I quite like.
I suppose it's tough to be on social media, especially when you're in a spotlight.
Yeah, I
spotlight
found it to be a lot of pressure that I couldn't really keep up with. Like, I'd like to give everybody an equal amount of time, and then suddenly I was getting like a few hundred tweets a day, and I was like, I can't actually keep up with this, and it ended up sort of making me feel guilty that I'm not able to, give everybody the time. So I just thought, nope, just sort of shut it off and be like, I can't really keep up with that. It sort of brings some anxieties, I guess. But I lurk on Reddit with an anonymous username and give a lot of advice out on there. So, yeah.
Oh.
That's
This
my
is a
social
challenge
media
for
in.
everyone.
Good luck.
You have a question?
Yes, you've mentioned that you've now moved on with your life and have like an adult real job.
Yeah.
But
kind of.
if they did decide to reboot something with your character, with the spin-offs, would you go back?
Yeah, in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Do you still have your equity card?
No, actually, no. I did actually end that this year, but I think the character Luke has meant so much to me. It's brought me to so many conventions, and I'd never say no to something to continue the legacy of Sarah Jane. I'd just be proud to do that, of course. Yeah.
And
Respect.
I mean, I'm sure that there'll be something this year. I mean, this is the year that they're going to, I'm sure, bring everybody back that they can. Did you watch The Power of the Doctor?
Nope.
Nope, you didn't.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm quite a bit behind, actually. I haven't watched anything since before Jodie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I've seen little bits, but I haven't sat and watched it. Yeah.
Oh.
It's on the to-do list.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Wrong room to say that in.
Oh, there are plenty of people in this room, I'm sure, who have their own thoughts about Jodie Whittaker's
Oh, I've heard
season.
some, yeah.
So, so you said that you would come back to do more Luke. Are there other things that would get you to return to acting? No.
No, I don't. No.
No.
You know, maybe
like
some obscene
another
Marvel
season
offer.
of Victoria, or if they came back.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think I'd only be comfortable for something that's like I've already started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess I have just no interest in new
Neither
projects so much.
stage nor screen or.
Like, maybe when I'm 40 or 50, but right
Sure,
now I think
yeah.
I'm going to be much happier.
Doing other
Yeah,
things.
yeah, leading my own path for a bit. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Any other questions from anybody? Deep dark secrets from Tommy.
Are there particular pranks that you played on each other?
So a big one that we used to do on set a lot was there'd be gaffer tape everywhere, all this colourful tape that they often use to just mark on the floor where you stand. And we'd always play the game of we'd try and spell a word out on somebody's back during the day. So yeah, we'd often be ripping off bits of tape, and then as somebody, the cameraman comes over and it's like, all right, we're getting Rory today. And bit by bit, we'd like attach like a strip here, and then the next person would come along and add a strip here, and by the end of the day, it would just say like "I smell" on his back, or just something childish like that. But it was a great like communal effort. And as we did that over the weeks and the months, like more and more of the crew like would get involved with it, and then yeah, that was so much fun.
Do we have any spare gaffer tape back there anywhere?
Check your back, mate.
So, what game are you playing these days? You mentioned Elden Ring.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. That I've been playing with my partner a lot of Fortnite. We're playing the no build mode together. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that as like a little couple partnership that we do.
Nice.
Getting a win on that, we start jumping up about the room and singing together, and it gets very exciting. So yeah, that's sort of like my biggest love at the moment. I've been doing a lot of like retro emulators as well, just as sort of throwbacks to old games that I used to play. Yeah.
What kind of old games?
Like the Pokemon ones.
Uh-huh.
I have like a PS1 emulator as well of like the old like Metal Gear Solid games that I've really enjoyed replaying recently.
Are you more of a platformer, side scroller? What kind of?
I think I don't know. I like all sorts.
All
Yeah.
sorts,
No,
all sorts.
there's no
Yeah.
favorite. I think. Yeah, I do. I love an RPG. I love like developing a character. I'm one of those people that will be the character creation screen. You have to make your face. That's like a 4 or 5 hour job. Like because I have to get the philtrum just right, and the nostrils have to be the perfect size, and yeah, creating that is just I find that so satisfying. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's so fun, isn't it?
Is your partner? You mentioned you have a partner. Are they a tech person as well? Yeah.
Yeah. She did computer science at uni, so we can talk tech, and she understands what I'm talking about. She can give me a hand here and there. Yeah, we nerd out together at things. Yeah, it's good.
Great. They're not an actor at all.
No.
And what did they think about your past?
I guess it's weird sometimes to, like, trying to think. Like they didn't know me beforehand, which I found as a very attractive for me.
I'm sure, yeah.
She's just happy that I'm happy I'm doing what I want to do. She's super supportive, and I'm lucky to know her.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you ever have fan interactions when you're just out and about?
Yeah, here and there, yeah. And it can be a bit weird. Sometimes, you know, if it's like a big group, like I say, a big group of girls, and they're all, oh my gosh, you was on this show, and I think that can be really difficult, you know, to sort of see like attention from other people. I just do my best to make sure. I say, oh, this is my partner here. You know, oh yeah, thanks, but bye.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
I suppose it doesn't happen as much lately, but at the
I've been
time
working
where
on that.
you,
The mustache really helps.
yes, you're incognito. You have to go out with the shades on and everything. Back at the time, did you get, when you would just be out and about, would you get recognized?
Yeah. It was quite a lot at one point. It was a bit too much, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of brought on not a paranoia, but I was would be constantly aware of sort of someone across the room, you know, looking at you, going, "Oh, I know this person. How do I know this person?" And you know, you suddenly like I've got to like almost prepare myself to have to talk to them about my job because I imagine they're going to come over and that sort of thing. And I didn't really like that, to be honest. For the most part, I like to be left alone, you know, when I can be, and be private about things. So yeah, I did find that quite difficult. There were times as well. It's like you'd be on a train and a group of schoolboys would come on and you're feeling hungover from the party the night before, and then there's like 20 of them and they're all filming you and sort of trying to get a rise out of you, and it can actually be quite an intimidating experience sometimes, which I didn't enjoy. But for the most part as well, some fan interactions are just so warming. They're like, excuse me, like I had one person who was actually making the transition, like a gender transition, and they said that their chosen name was Luke, based off of the character Luke, and how they had such an attachment to Luke growing up, of like being an outsider and not understanding the world around them and the world understanding them. And that was honestly one of the most touching things that I've ever heard said to me. So you know, something like that like trumps everything. You know, like I put up with all the anxieties and the moments that I felt tough. Just knowing that I've done something like that for someone is like, oof, I feel a bit invincible.
Great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Speaking of fan interactions, what's the strangest thing you had to autograph?
Oh no.
I'm not sure on strangest. Some of my favorite things that I've been able to autograph are people's collections that they've been working on for 40 plus years. Like if I see something that has Liz's signature on it, it's like, that feels incredible to be like, she's touched this as well. You know what I mean? Or some people's collections that have multiple Doctors on. It's so awe-inspiring to be like, I'm a part of this. Like, you get to write your name on something which means the world to that person, and has been something that's spanned generations of hard work, travel, everything for them to get a collection together. And then the nerves you feel when you have to write your name on something and you're like, please don't mess this up. I hope the pen doesn't leak. I hope this doesn't go wrong, and don't sneeze on it. Like, all those things sort of rush through my head. It feels incredible to be able to be a part of that. Yeah, that's certainly the best things I've ever signed.
And I mean, those are, so, you know, at least at events like this, it seems like all the fan interactions are very positive. That we are all here to celebrate, rather than, you know, as you say, they're trying to get a rise out of you. You know, that I hope that all the conventions you've done, that's never been. There is something about the people at a convention which is it's so unique, but it's the same to every convention that you go to. There's like just a real kindness and a sense of awe with all the people that brings them together, and I feel very comfortable here talking about things that outside of conventions I'm actually not very comfortable talking with and dealing with. But coming here, it's just knowing that how kind everybody is here. It makes it a lot easier for me. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I love fans, like, you know, being nerding out on something like for myself on stuff. I like completely understand how you can just be in awe of something.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. I think we might have time for one last question. If anyone has one last question that they'd like to ask.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Marissa.
Hiya.
I just recently started playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
Have you done that since you like role-playing games?
I have, yeah. I've done a few sessions. My older brother does a podcast actually, which you can check out. It's called No Small Roles, and he's been doing this. He's been doing a campaign. He DMs for a group of friends from his drama school, and they've been doing. I can't remember how many episodes. Maybe a good 100 or plus episodes. It's been going for a while.
No Small Roles.
No
And
Small
that's
Roles. Yeah, check them out.
ROLLS.
Yep, ROLES. I think it's the pun on
okay.
it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, D&D is a big part of our family.
What do you
and
play?
yeah.
What's your favorite type of character to play?
So I'll always want to play something little, so I can put on a silly voice. But generally I'm more of like a healer priest kind of type. I like to help people, but also be as cheeky as I can with it.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming to this interview, and thank you to Tommy for sharing
Thank you for listening.
with all of you. And make sure that you are coming to visit him to get autographs and photographs.
Free hugs.
Free hugs, apparently, yes. Yeah. Do you have a sign? Free hugs?
No.
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 Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Forever, you and me, we will